Have you ever set a boundary that wasn't respected? It's a common experience, one that can leave us feeling vulnerable and unsure of ourselves. Boundaries are essential for our mental and emotional well-being, yet they are often misunderstood or disregarded by others. Welcome to Ledge Academy, where we ignite your growth and unlock your full potential. Now, let's dive into today's topic. That sinking feeling of discomfort, maybe even anger, is a clear sign. It's a visceral reaction that tells us something is wrong. When our boundaries are crossed, it's not just a minor inconvenience, it's a breach of our personal space and autonomy. It's a signal that something is off, that your limits are being ignored. We've all been there. The feeling of being overlooked or dismissed can be incredibly isolating. It's as if our voice doesn't matter and our needs are secondary. It's an experience that leaves us feeling frustrated, disrespected, and often powerless. The emotional toll can be significant, affecting our self-esteem and our relationships. It's a cycle that can be hard to break, but it's not impossible. But what if we could shift that dynamic? What if we could take back control and create an environment where our boundaries are respected? It starts with understanding that we have the right to set boundaries, and that doing so is an act of self-care. What if we could reclaim our power by setting boundaries, not with anger or aggression, but with grace and clarity? It's about finding the balance between assertiveness and compassion. We can communicate our needs without alienating others. This is not about controlling others. It's about creating a mutual understanding and respect. Boundaries are not meant to be barriers, but guidelines for healthier interactions. It's about taking responsibility for ourselves. We can't control how others react, but we can control how we express our boundaries. It's a practice that requires patience and consistency. It's about communicating our needs and limits in a way that invites respect, not resistance. Clear communication is key. When we articulate our boundaries calmly and confidently, we set the tone for how we expect to be treated. This is about understanding that boundaries are not selfish walls, but bridges to healthier, more fulfilling relationships. They help us connect with others on a deeper level by fostering mutual respect and understanding. They are the cornerstone of self-respect and a testament to our courage to honor our own well-being. Setting boundaries is an ongoing process, one that evolves as we grow and change. It's a journey towards self-discovery and empowerment. Reflect on your own boundaries. Are they clear and well-defined? Do they reflect your true needs and values? Take the time to assess and adjust them as necessary. Remember, boundaries are a form of self-love. When we honor our boundaries, we create a life that is aligned with our authentic selves. We attract relationships that are supportive and nurturing. It's a path to a more balanced and fulfilling life. So the next time you feel that sinking feeling, remember that you have the power to change the narrative. Set your boundaries with grace and clarity and watch as your world transforms. Boundaries are essential. They are the invisible lines that define our personal space and our limits. Without them, we would be lost in a sea of confusion and chaos. They define where we end and others begin. Boundaries help us navigate our relationships and interactions with others, ensuring that we maintain our sense of self while respecting the individuality of those around us. They protect our physical space, our time, our energy, and our emotional well-being. By setting clear boundaries, we create a safe and nurturing environment for ourselves, allowing us to focus on what truly matters. Without boundaries, we risk becoming overwhelmed, resentful, and disconnected from our own needs. We may find ourselves constantly giving to others, neglecting our own well-being in the process. Boundaries are not about saying no to everything. They are about making conscious choices that align with our values and priorities. It's about knowing when to say no and when to say yes. They are about saying yes to ourselves. By honoring our boundaries, we affirm our self-worth and create space for our passions and interests. When we set boundaries, we are essentially saying, "This is what I value." We communicate our needs and expectations clearly, fostering mutual respect and understanding in our relationships. This is what I need to thrive. Boundaries are not just about protection, they are about growth and flourishing. They allow us to invest our time and energy in activities that nourish our mind, body, and soul. Think of boundaries as a fence around your property. This fence is not meant to isolate you, but to create a defined space where you can feel secure and at peace. The fence doesn't exist to keep people out. It exists to define what is yours and to protect what you value. It allows you to open the gate and invite others in when you choose, on your terms. It exists to define what is yours and to protect what you value. By setting and maintaining boundaries, we honor ourselves and create a foundation of respect in our lives. Boundaries are the cornerstone of healthy relationships and a fulfilling life. Setting boundaries is important, but without consequences, they are just words. Consequences give our boundaries teeth. They communicate that our limits are not suggestions. They are non-negotiable aspects of our well-being. Consequences don't have to be harsh or punitive. In fact, the most effective consequences are those that are delivered with empathy and understanding. They are simply a way of saying, I respect you, and I expect you to respect me. If you choose to disregard my boundaries, there will be a natural consequence. Setting clear boundaries starts with self-awareness. What are your non-negotiables? What behaviors drain your energy or make you feel uncomfortable? Once you identify your boundaries, communicate them clearly and directly. Avoid vague language or apologies. For example, instead of saying, I'm kind of busy this week, be direct. I have a lot on my plate this week. Can we reschedule for next week? Remember, setting boundaries is an act of self-respect, not selfishness. Communicating consequences with kindness and clarity. In this section, we will explore how to effectively communicate boundaries and consequences in a way that is both kind and clear. When a boundary is crossed, it is essential to address it calmly and directly. This approach helps to maintain a respectful and constructive dialogue. Start by reminding the person of the boundary that was set and the consequence that was agreed upon. This reinforces the importance of the boundary and the reason behind it. For example, you might say, remember when we talked about how important it is for me to have quiet time in the evenings? This time is crucial for me to relax and recharge. When you interrupt me while I'm reading, it makes it difficult for me to unwind and enjoy my personal time. This interruption disrupts my relaxation and affects my overall well-being. To address this, I'm going to finish my book now and we can talk after. This way, I can have my quiet time and we can still have our conversation later. The key to effective communication is consistency. By consistently enforcing the consequence each time the boundary is crossed, you demonstrate the importance of your needs and limits. Enforce the consequence each time the boundary is crossed. This shows that you are serious about your needs and limits, and it helps the other person understand the significance of respecting your boundaries. By communicating consequences with kindness and clarity, you create an environment of mutual respect and understanding. This approach not only helps in maintaining healthy relationships, but also ensures that your boundaries are respected and valued. Remember, the goal is not to punish, but to create a space where both parties feel heard and respected. Clear communication and consistent enforcement of boundaries lead to stronger, more respectful relationships. Take time to reflect on your boundaries and the consequences you set. Ensure they are reasonable and fair, and be open to discussing them with the other person to reach a mutual understanding. Open and honest communication is the foundation of any healthy relationship. By addressing boundary crossings with kindness and clarity, you foster a positive and respectful environment for everyone involved. Real-life scenarios, boundaries in action. Imagine a friend consistently calls you late at night, disrupting your sleep. You've asked them to call earlier, but they haven't respected your boundary. The consequence? You don't answer the phone after a certain time. Or perhaps a coworker constantly interrupts you. The consequence? You politely but firmly redirect them to your scheduled meeting time. Remember, boundaries are not about controlling others. They are about taking control of your own well-being. The ripple effect of respectful boundaries. Setting boundaries with respectful consequences creates a ripple effect. It not only improves your own well-being, but also inspires those around you to do the same. When you model healthy boundaries, you teach others how to treat you. You create a space for more authentic and respectful relationships. It can feel uncomfortable at first, but the rewards of living in alignment with your values are immeasurable. Embrace your power. Set boundaries, live authentically. Setting boundaries is an act of self-love and courage. It's about honoring your worthiness and creating a life that aligns with your values. Remember, you are worthy of respect. You deserve to have your needs met. Don't be afraid to set boundaries. Start small and be patient with yourself. The journey to setting healthy boundaries is a process, not a destination. But with each step, you move closer to living a more authentic and empowered life. What boundaries will you set today? Thank you for joining us on the journey to greatness. Don't miss our free Ledge Academy Essentials Vault in the video description, a treasure trove of PDF summaries to enrich your learning. If you're inspired, be sure to like, subscribe, and explore the description for more resources. Until next time, keep striving for your best.